In the spirit of the last season of Shingeki no Kyojin, I here watched the first season, actually the first episode of the first season, and I took some screenshots to talk about them. I am in no way qualified to do that. I'm not an artist. I'm not an animator. I'm just a fan, which I think allows me to talk about it. So let's go. Please, this is lighthearted. Don't try to make it too serious, okay? So the first thing is obviously the the opening screen, which is the name of the show in kanji, and below that the name of the show in English. And this is the official title, although this is a mistranslation, but I'm not getting into that today. Um, the background is full black, and there's a splash of blood across the Japanese title, which I think both the black, the choice of the black color and the splash of blood, they are a warning. Like, if you do not like gore, there will be some here. So if it's not your thing, don't watch this show. That's what I feel like. And then the next good scene we have is this one. It's a close-up of Eren's face, very detailed. You can see his eyelashes, you can see the reflection on his pupils, you know. So it's also a camera angle, if you will, that shows some distress and uncomfortableness or discomfort. And you can see there's an element of surprise, there's an element of horror, and also they use very thick lines. You can see here on his nose and here on his hair, which is a characteristic of which is very characteristic of animes that try to be more serious and more mature and more adult, if you will, and more violent. And it is a trend. If you look at Kimetsu no Yaiba, for example, they also use thicker lines. You can see here on his cheek and here on his hair that usually when they use thicker lines, I think of more violent and growing up themes for the anime. On the contrary, for example, in Majo no Tabi Tabi, they use um, almost no lines. So the separation between her hair and her cheek here, it's more of the color. You don't have much outline between them, which I think it is more characteristic of lighthearted and comedic themes. Also, here we have a guy riding a horse, right? So you can see there's a very clear separation between the background and the character, which is repeated a lot in Shingeki. It's a thing that they use. Keep in mind, this first season came out 7 years ago, so it's not that new. But I do like it. It gives me good vibes, although I would not complain if they could blend the background and the characters a little bit better. Although you can see that there's a lot of light in his face, and it is a night scene, so not sure where all this light is coming from. Maybe the moon, but I think it's too bright for a scene at night. But that's okay. So we also have the rain, which is blurred in the background, and then a little bit here, and then on his face, and then on his cape. So I like how they portray various different levels of rain and how it would behave in different materials. So that's cool. Then we have this scene of Eren waking up. I really like this scene because first, because when you first look at it, it seems like he's up but then in 2 seconds you will find out that he's actually laying down. And then you also have two different shades of green here, and this one here is more blurred than this one, and you can actually see how they use light here, which I think is just really amazing. Because I don't know if there is, I'm not an animator of any kind, neither digital or, paper and pencil. I don't know if there is a software that calculates how the light goes, kind of like of ray tracing of some sort, but it is really cool what they do here, because you can't really tell right now, but he's laying. If you watch the episode, you know what I'm talking about. You probably have at this point. He's laying down um, on a tree, or actually beneath a tree, and then this light here is coming between the leaves of the tree and hitting just some spots of his face, and you can see that here the light is brighter, but also here we have some little light fading. So excellent job here. 10 out of 10 usage of light, in my opinion. And then we have Mikasa. So the same observation I did before. You can really see how they use light very well. You can see that here is blurred, of course, and then there's some light coming here on her hair, and then a little bit here, which is the light coming through the leaves of the tree and in her. So really like that as well. So that's something I want to talk about. Everything you see on screen has some meaning, has a team of people doing that and thinking about it and drawing and coloring and think of the photography. But it is an animated show made for television, which means that the budget is limited and you have to produce an episode a week, and well, you cannot have every frame to be just perfect and beautiful. In movies, sometimes it does, but in television anime, not so much. Sometimes they make it better on Blu-ray version, but that's not what we're going to analyze right now. The thing is, you see here, there's not much detail at all. You can see that their faces are kinda meh, that their hands are kinda meh. The background's still beautiful, but the walking and moving parts, the characters themselves, really not that well drawn. And I know that if I took the most beautiful show and I keep pausing it every second, there will be not perfect frames, but I'm not judging, or actually kind of am, but I'm not saying that it loses point by doing that or having that. I'm just pointing out that this exists, and I'm actually happy if they can, save a little bit of time and effort and budget for the walking and talking scenes and put it on the action scenes. So just keep in mind that they also do that on Shingeki no Kyojin. Oh, here. So overall, backgrounds in Shingeki, perfect. They really nail it. I think they just look like paintings. Look at the sky here and the mountains and the trees. It's just so beautifully done. And you can see here the wall is not just flat. You can see each brick has shadows in different colors, which is very cool. I don't really like these things here. They seem like just, one dimension. They seem like they're together with the bricks, although they clearly are growing out of them. So it's lacking some dimension here, but overall, great. Also here, um, again, the backgrounds really amazing. You can see here on the bench and on the little bottles of wine, I imagine, that they really seem like, old school drawings or classic paintings. So very good. I also like how they work light on Shingeki. Actually, when I was watching it for the first time, I did not pay attention to that, but rewatching it, they really do an amazing job. You can see they have entered here, so they are going through a little tunnel, and then now they are in the tunnel. So here you can see there is light, and here there is also light, but then in the tunnel there is shadow. And then you think, of course there is shadow. Duh. How could you not expect that? But the thing is, sometimes they do not pay that much attention to everything. And if you notice, if you pause it in another anime, you see that not every tunnel has perfect shadows. And then this argument gets stronger as you go in, because then we have shots of the characters inside the tunnel, and then you can see the light coming from the entrance or the exit or whatever, and hitting just the right side of his face, and then here there's shadow. Of course, he's facing down the exit, which is the main source of light. So, I don't know, I'm just in love with the use of light in Shingeki. They really pay attention to it. So, likewise, when we turn around, there is a source of light coming from behind and a little bit of light on one side of his face. And then one thing that Shingeki do also to save some budget, I imagine, is having static images just panning through the screen with narration and music behind, and they do it quite a bit, and I'm not against it at all. First, because the images are very beautiful, and again, if they can save some budget to the action scenes, good. I have no problem with that. Then again, it's just a thing that they do. I'm not saying that they're doing it wrong. I'm just pointing out that they do that. This here, I just wanted to say, don't you guys think that Mikasa, the younger Mikasa, when she has the string of hair here, doesn't she really seem like Rukia from Bleach? Like, come on, guys. Come on. Isn't she, like, kinda remind you? If you say that she doesn't, then you're lying, because she clearly does, right? Here. They are very similar. Face, the face structure. Oh, here. So this is actually So remember, this is the first episode. They're trying to set the mood. So how does this world work? And there is this character, I think her son or her grandson died, something like that. This character never appears again, that I've noticed, at least. But they use her to show us, the viewers, how desperate the world actually is on this show. So you have a sequence of some panels I have here, and then here, and then I think we have one more. Oh no, we just have two. Okay, but you can see that they put a lot of effort and detail. You can see here her wrinkles, and here her despair. You can feel her despair, and they could have done walking Mikasa and Eren from far away and little detail, but this scene needed to be more detailed. It needed to be focused on her face and to see her despair. And all of this paired with the voice acting, you know, it really shows you how cruel this is. Here, here I would really like to point out some photography. Guys, I'm just talking BS. I'm not really an expert on anything, but this scene here really caught my attention because are using the rule of thirds. If you don't know what the rule of third is, it's just an imaginary like line, actually two lines here and two lines here. If you would imagine that this screen has a line here, here, and here, and here, then our eyes usually focus better if what we are trying to emphasize it's on the corner of these specific points. So right here we have this kind of gate perfectly positioned on the rule of thirds of this image, and then we have the main characters underneath it. They are a little below the rule of thirds, but actually they are framed by this gate here, which I think is very cool. I'm pretty sure there is someone in charge of the photography, and I don't know who it is. I don't know if it's a famous person, but this shot in particular really caught my attention of the using of photography on Shingeki no Kyojin. Oh, here it's very interesting. So the characters are just talking. So they could show just the faces. They could show grass and you can just hear the voices. You could, just have a black screen and then hear their voices talking. But of course not. You have the two characters looking at each other and talking. You can see if you have the character on screen and if you're drawing him, you have to show his personality, right? So you can see here how Eren is placed up higher than Armin, and Armin is with his hands tight here, kind of like afraid or um, introverted, while Eren is here looking up and down to him. So you can see that there's a relationship of power here. You clearly see that when you look at both of them, first, that there's a space between them. Why are they not sitting close to each other? They are friends, right? Why are they not sitting both here or both on the stairs? No, there's a space between them. And clearly, one is extroverted and has a power relationship to the other one. At least that's what I think. Look at it. The famous one, right? When this anime first aired, this was the image that, was everywhere. I don't think much of it. Now that I've seen so many times, I'm already kind of desensitized to it. But I don't think it's cool. The usage of, smoke here, it's pretty cool. Again, um, this is so iconic that I could not let it go without talking a little bit about it. But I don't think that I have much to add here right now. Also, this is cooler. So we have a big butt of a titan here. Okay, so I just wanted to show the camera angle working here. So you can see that you wonder with me, can you? Why is it not straight? Why is it kind of like this way, framed this way? Again, these are all shots to show uncertainty and to make you feel uncomfortable, right? This, again, very nice shot. I really like how they do these things here. I think it's really common when they cry in anime to have this kind of, little bits here and there. Um, but again, just a beautiful image. I like to share it. And then last but not least, this image here, it's also very, very iconic. If you look at this Titan again, you will see that this color is not this one. So actually he has normal human color skin, just like any other Titan on the series. So you can clearly see that this frame here was made to impact you. Of course it is, but why is it the case? Um, the smile first, and then the red color of the skin, kind of like a demon of some sorts. Also, I think the sun was setting right now here on the show, and then that would kind of explain the yellow eye here and the more red skin, but well, that's it. As I said, this is not too serious. I was just um, giving some praise to the people who worked on Shingeki, and you are free to disagree with me. Maybe you think it's meaningless. I don't, but it's okay. And the main message is just that everything you see has a meaning, because someone chose to put it there. That's what I think. So, if you want to watch Shingeki no Kyojin if you haven't yet, which I don't think how that would be possible, but maybe, I'll leave the link to watch it on Crunchyroll for free. I'm not sponsored. I would like to. I'd like to be in the future. Crunchyroll, hit me up. But for now, that's it. That's just it. Maybe if you guys want to, I can do some more in the future. But that's it for today. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.